Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. In the next 60 seconds, we will officially commence the program. It will be live on GTV as well as on GBC News. They have given us a signal that they will be ready to start the transmission in the next 60 seconds. So I urge us all to be seated and prepare for the live coverage of this very important program. Do you understand me? Yeah. So the sound is low, so you have to put it a little bit. Yeah. I'm just because we'll be using the mic and it's handheld. I'm just telling you, it's on TV. People criticize a lot of things these days. So if we get some hand sanitizer, everyone put the hand sanitizer in it before we start. Sorry, I'm just delaying the start for another 2 minutes because they have given us a handheld microphone. And it's on TV. If you're not careful, people will criticize. Okay. Hello, many thanks for joining us here at the Moving Peak Hotel in Accra. We are also live on GTV and live on GBC News. And this is the launch of the 25th GJA Awards, which comes up later this year. My name is Abdul Hayi Mumin, and the launch of the 25th GJA Awards, for me, couldn't have come at a better time than now. Because for me, since I was born, it is these times that I've come to realize the importance, the real importance of the media to the global society. When nations went under lockdown due to restrictions brought upon all of us by COVID-19, everyone was locked up in their homes, yet everyone was looking out for information. And the only people they were looking up to provide them with that information was the media. People relied on the virtual platforms, on social media, but ultimately, even when they received information on social media, they always wanted to go back to traditional media for these difficult times. I didn't hear that round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, please indulge me a little bit. Let me, sorry, 1 minute. Just pause for a minute, please. We may leave our sheets on our laps for now, and just show me your right hands. Just put it in the air. Okay, just wave it around. Can I see your left arms as well? Put both in the air and wave them around. Now, on the count of 1, I want you to put both palms together simultaneously. Can we do this for me? No, wave. And when I say 1, we all do it together. We are waving. 1. Simultaneously. Do I need to bring a dictionary here? Okay, so let's wave on the count of 1. 1. Again. Can we do that 3 times? Ready, go. So that's a clap. You see, we are here to begin the process of celebrating journalists. And you cannot celebrate someone without clapping for them. These days, you can't hug them, you can't shake them. The best you can do is to clap, and it's safe to clap. Thank you very much. My name is Abdul Hayi Mumin. I work with the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, and I'm excited that I've been chosen to be the moderator for this morning's event. As we always do at such events, we invite the presence of God. And at this moment, ladies and gentlemen, join me as I welcome Pastor Joe Hagan, who is with the Valley View University, to give us the opening prayer. Round of applause now, ladies and gentlemen.
May I humbly ask that we stand before God as we pray. I beg. Our Father and our God, we commit our program to you this day as we begin. The work of the media in nation building is very important. Even though we are in changing times, we are happy that we have a God who never changes. So as we begin, may your good will be done for us. Inspire all who are going to speak to us and who are going to support, that at the end of it all, you will say, God has been good to us. May your name be praised now and forevermore. Amen. Please sit.
Thank you very much, Pastor Joe Hagan, for giving us the opening prayer. On occasions like these, we always need someone to steer affairs. The GJA and the executives looked around and found a very suitable person to do so for us. In Ghana, when we say that somebody needs no introduction, what we usually mean is that everybody knows them so much so that even when you mention their names, we all know who they are. But they are also the ones that when you say they need no introduction, you struggle to actually introduce them because they have a long profile, and in selecting which of the profiles to highlight, you have an issue. Such is the case with the person who has been chosen to be the chairperson for this occasion. He is the executive secretary of the NMC. But his work does not end there. If you are looking for somebody who has contributed internationally, academically, in the media space, and you Google his name, you will find his name up there with the very best when it comes to journalism and media work. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our chairman, Mr. George Sapon, the executive secretary of the NMC.
Thank you very much, Mumin, for this wonderful introduction. Mr. President of GJA, I think that there's something very exciting about our meeting here today. In one respect, I can see some of our nation's best in the industry. Need we recognize that Doreen is here, best journalist, and yes, other outstanding journalists all around us. But what is most significant is the generational blend that we have. Mavis is here, Uncle Bright, Mr. Roxon, no better academic and thinker and researcher on media than him. I've seen a lot who were my seniors as I entered the industry, whether in the practice of journalism or in academia. Nila Isoa is there. But I'm also seeing a lot of very young, enterprising media personnel here. So if I take the fact that I was learning from Uncle Bright, President of Films, Roxanne and the rest, but I can also see Theophilus Apeko, who was directly my student in the pioneering group in the degree program at GJA, and a host of others. It tells me that 25 years of Media Excellence Awards in Ghana has done so much to develop this industry. There are those who are here who saw it begin. There are those who saw it happen. But there are also those who joined the system as it was growing. And to get to the point where all of us can say we are 25 years as an award scheme, I think that we can only thank God for what He's done for us. Mr. Chairman, just give me, Mr. President, and the honorable people here, just give me one small moment to emphasize a point that our brother Mumen made. If there is anything COVID has taught us about communication, it is about the great legitimating power of journalism. That all around us, as all manner of fake news pervade, everybody runs back to credible media to ascertain exactly what is the truth. So as we go into election 2020, we go with a huge credibility. But we also come with a big challenge where we should understand that there has been no bigger moment when truth contests so strongly with falsehood in the marketplace of ideas. And that is why launching the award for this year becomes, for me, such an important thing. A moment of celebration, but also a moment of celebration. For us all to think about the future of our profession, how we can use that to save society in good times, in bad times, and in difficult times. I want to take my seat by once again also acknowledging that when I saw Sir Jonah's name, excuse me, let me adjust my mask well. I immediately got very gratified that the GJA had invited this illustrious son of Ghana to do this launch. And it's partly because, in addition to all the great things that he has done for this nation, very few people know in the background what Sir Jonah has done in support of media development and the right to free expression. And it appears to me that the big people in the media here know, all the most influential people know, but for the younger generation of media personnel, perhaps it is about time we also made them know the contribution of people like him to the industry. So I want to thank all of you, and especially the leadership of GJA, for giving me this great honor to be here. When the award was launched, I had just gotten out of university, and I was following people like those I have mentioned to understand the industry and to build a career in it. I think it is to the honor of all of you that I have acknowledged that today we can also say we are part of the industry. So as we launch this award, I want you to remember in your own hearts that each award that we give out to anybody is also in celebration of the work that people like you have done. So please accept this launch also as a launch of the acknowledgement of your own contribution to the industry. And I want to thank all of you very much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. George Sapon, the Executive Secretary of the NMC, for accepting to be the chairperson for this very important occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, at the beginning, I asked us to acknowledge each other by clapping, because that's the only thing we can do now. When we came in, we couldn't shake hands and so on. I'm going to acknowledge some of the people who have over the years contributed to the growth of journalism in Ghana, but have also found time today to join us as we launch the 25th awards ceremony. Mr. Sapon has already spoken to us, so he needs no introduction. But with us here is Mr. Bright Blue. Mr. Blue, can you just, that's right. Mr. Bright Blue is a member of the NMC and he's a journalist who has served this nation for very many years. Let's give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Kweku Roxon is the Dean of School of Communication Studies at Wisconsin University. Dr. Roxon, thank you very much for coming. Pastor Joe Hagan, of course, is with the Valley View University, has been a journalist for many years as well. Let's give Pastor Hagan a round of applause. Thank you. Nilai Sowa is also known as Kinteman. He is the Executive Secretary of Prempag. Let's acknowledge him. Thank you very much. Mrs. Mavis Kitcher is the President of ASWIM. ASWIM is Association of Women in Media. Mrs. Kitcher, we are grateful that you came. Mrs. Linda Asanteje is the Vice President of the GJA. Let's give her a round of applause. Mr. Kofi Abua is the General Secretary of the GJA. He's here as well. Mr. Albert Kwabena Dumfo is the National Organizing Secretary, GJA. Right, let's give him. Miss Mary Mensah is Public Affairs Officer, GJA. Of course, let me also introduce a lady whose seat I covet a lot, and I'm working hard. One day I'll push her off that seat and sit on it. Mrs. Doreen Hammond is the current Journalist of the Year. Let's give her a round of applause. I envy you. Miss Gloria Haji is the Executive Secretary of GIBA. She's here as well. And forgive me that I'm doing this, but I have to tell you that my boss is also here. He is Justice Mengle. Justice Mengle is the head of news, Radio Ghana. Thank you very much. Of course, we cannot mention everybody's name, but we are grateful that you all found time to come here this morning to join us as we launch the 25th GJA Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now call on the President of the GJA to give us his welcome address. Mr. President, please.
Mr. Chairman, King George for short, special guest of honor, Sir Sam Jonah, NMC Commissioner Bright Kwame Blue, ASWIM President, Prempag Executive Secretary, GIBA Executive Secretary, GJ National Executive, Pastor Aaron Hagen, reigning Journalist of the Year, Doreen Hammond, GJA sponsors, media partners, colleague journalists, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is my profound pleasure to welcome you physically and electronically to the launch of the Silver Jubilee edition of the GJA Awards. We are most grateful for your quick response to our late invitations. It bears repeating that we are not in normal times, hence the not too normal preparations for this year's Media Awards. Indeed, we intended to launch this event as far back in March, but all our plans were toppled inevitably by the COVID-19 pandemic. Despite the devastating impact of the pandemic, we were and we are still not deterred. We have not lost heart, we are not shrinking back in a drive to honor journalists who excelled in a large suite of areas in 2019, as well as those who have distinguished themselves this year in the fight against coronavirus. This ruthless virus has infected a number of journalists. That is a fact. Despite all the risks, none has stopped working. That is the reality. So the confluence of stark reality and naked facts, coupled the rising tensions and growing challenges, informed the choice of the theme COVID-19 and credible presidential and parliamentary elections, the media factor. Mr. Chairman, physical distancing and other safety protocols in response to the rampaging pandemic leave the political parties with no choice than to switch the battlefield from the rally grounds to media platforms, both traditional and social. This provides an opportunity without parallel for the media to leverage their persuasive power and overarching influence to shape the complexion of the campaign and determine to a large extent the outcome of the elections. In this connection, the media have certain interlocking rights they must religiously respect and tenaciously pursue. They include the right of the electorate to make informed and intelligent choices at the polls, as well as the right of the political parties and their candidates to gain access to the media and sell their messages. In addition, the media must scrutinize every cycle of the electoral processes and ensure that they pass the test of transparency, inclusiveness, accountability, and competitiveness. True, certain media practitioners and very known outlets do not hide their explicit love or spiteful hatred for some political parties and their candidates. This is not the time to debate this phenomenon. It is rather the time, more than ever before, for journalists to play it fair and allow their sense of objectivity and professionalism to dominate the electioneering. Regarding social media, all manner of dubious websites with poisonous content are spreading with rapid-fire succession. These websites and their operators further vulgarize the campaign and heighten tensions by amplifying unprintable insults and relaying outlandish allegations by certain politicians and their followers. If we can't stop them, we can train them. While we hope and pray that they tone down the excessive dose of vulgarity and mendacity which are their stock in trade. We also encourage traditional media to righteously invade the social media space with their quality staff. On training, the GJA is running a series of programs on electoral reporting for journalists across the country with kind sponsorship of the U.S. Embassy. Greater Accra, Eastern Volta, Ashanti, and Bono regions have so far been covered. Other regions will take their turn next month. The GJA is also undertaking Star Ghana sponsored projects to fight political vigilantism And just last Friday, with the assistance of an NGO media response, we responded to a critical need of journalists by organizing a nationwide training in fake news. This was designed to help contain the insidious virus of content and digital fakery, which poses a veritable threat to quality journalism and decent politicking. Indeed, the media must do more to meet the expectations and demands imposed on them by the December elections. Mr. Chairman, every election year comes with the potential for media-induced danger. This is dangerously bad. We saw it in 2008, 2012, and 2016. In all these instances, Ghana was teetering on the brink of a catastrophe of unthinkable proportions as a consequence of recklessness in sections of the media. It took the benevolence, it took the redemptive benevolence of God to safeguard the peace and stability of this nation. Here we are again. Must we perpetuate our grievous professional sins for grace to abound? Definitely no. The nasty practices and scary examples must serve as a fountain of lessons from which media practitioners and their owners must drink. The tonic in this contest is the GJA NMC guidelines on electoral reporting. These guidelines must also be a garland to grace our heads and a chain to adorn our necks, even well after the elections are over. Mr. Chairman, it is needless to emphasize that COVID-19 has made life hellish for all, particularly journalists who bear a disproportionate portion of the burden as they feed the nation with news, information, analysis, and what have you, even at the peril of their lives. In appreciation, a special awards category has been introduced. All the traditional categories are intact. While thanking VRA, ADB, Eurojets, US Embassy, MTN, Plan Ghana, Ghana government, and other sponsors most profusely for their generosity, we seize the opportunity to appeal for more, to honor more journalists more handsomely. We are also grateful to Mevenpick and GBC, the authentic voice of the nation, for making the Media Awards Launch, which is coming to you live, possible. Furthermore, we extend our deepest gratitude to Sir Sam Jonah, a champion of media development in Ghana, who graciously agreed to launch the event. Need we remind our members and non-members that the GJA Awards are the pinnacle of professional achievement in Ghana. Please take advantage to enter and win. I welcome you once again to this significant ceremony. May the God of heaven bless us all. At this stage, I invite our Honorable Vice President, Mrs. Linda Senteji, to give details of the award categories. I thank you once again.
Thank you very much, President. I stand on existing protocols. Good morning. So we have 8 categories in all. Category 1, separate awards for radio, television, print, and online. And these are the details. We have news reporting, sports, education, features, small-scale illegal. Okay. So category 1, separate awards for radio, television, print, and online. The details are as follows. News reporting, sports, education, features, small-scale illegal mining, and that is galamsey. For category 2, awards cater for print and electronic. We have investigative reporting, photojournalism, arts and entertainment, domestic tourism, business and financial and economic reporting, small and micro-scale enterprises, environment, health, development journalism for further on SDGs, child protection and participation, crime and court reporting, human rights, political reporting, sanitation and hygiene, disability, ICT and digital reporting, and that includes blogging as well, anti-corruption, science reporting, oil and gas, ADB Special Award for Agriculture, reporting on rural, or that is rural reporting, WASH, and that is water, sanitation and health. We also have telecommunication, transport and road safety. For category 3, the details are best columnist, radio, best radio show, and that is for Akan, best radio morning show for English, best radio station for Akan, best radio station for English, best newspaper, and then best online. For category 4, that is for best regional radio stations. Category 5, we have best radio political show, Akan, best TV political talk show for Akan, best radio political talk show for English, best TV political talk show for English, and then democracy and peace building. For category 6, best radio and TV program for Akan, best radio and TV program for Dagbani, best radio and TV program for Ewe, best radio and TV program for Ga, best radio and TV program for Hausa, best radio and TV program for Enzima. Category 7, and this is exceptionally for COVID-19 coverage. We'll have best radio station Akan, best TV station English, best reporter Akan, best reporter English, best program for Akan, and best program for English. The last category, which is category 8, is for Komla Dumo, most promising young journalist of the year, and then the Professor PAV and Son Journalist of the Year. Now, for the entries of requirements, these are the rules. The competition is open to members working in the print, and that includes the news agency, electronic, and then online media in Ghana. Members of the National Executive and the Awards Committee are not eligible to contest. Please take note. Entrants must meet the following additional requirements. 1, entries should cover works published from January 1, 2019 to December 31st, 2019. 2, entrants may submit not more than 3 published works in total. However, 1 work shall not be entered in more than 1 category. Entrants should submit clear original published work and 5 photocopies of each of the entry. All entries must show the dates of publication, broadcast, and the medium in which the work was published. News agency stories should carry the conventional media or on the online or internet should also be considered as published. Let me take the 5.5 again. All entries must show the dates of publication, broadcast, and the medium in which the work was published. And news agency stories carried by the conventional media or the internet shall also be considered as published. Now, radio and TV entrants should submit 1 audio recording, and that is CD or DVD, in addition to 5 authenticated copies of the original broadcast script. Photographic and cartoons entries are submitted to the same requirements as print entries. Now, every entry should be clearly indicated the category of competition and must bear the name, address, and telephone number of the entrant. Under category 8, which is the most promising young journalist of the year, and then the journalist of the year, GJA members and the general public are invited to nominate candidates, giving reasons or reason for their nomination in not more than 120 words. The deadline for the submission of entries is 5 p.m. on Friday, September 9th, 2019. The deadline for the submission of entries is 5 p.m. on Friday, September 9th, 2020. Entries or nominations should be addressed to the chairperson, GJA Media Awards 2019 Committee, Ghana Journalists Association, and the address is P.O. Box GP 4636 Accra. Entries must also be uploaded online on www.gjaawards.com, www.gjaawards.com, or it can be delivered directly also to the International Press Center. And this is a point that I have to stress again. The Ghana Journalists Association is not bound to give an award in any category if it does not merit one. The GJA is not, and again I repeat, is not bound to give an award to a category if not merited. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Another applause for Madam Linda, Vice President of the GJA. And let me just reiterate that the GJA is being very conscious and cautious, especially in these times when we have all been restricted to a very large extent by COVID-19. And so the emphasis is that for those who have stories they would want to enter into the competition, that you can do so on virtual platforms. And the virtual platform, she has provided the website address, which is the www.gjaawards.com. You go through the procedure that has been laid out, but please, as much as possible, if you can, do it virtually. So physical contact is reduced to the barest minimum. Mr. President, have I summarized that well? Thank you. Thank you very much. And so at this stage, Mr. President, when you were delivering your welcome address, you talked about a lot of things, including objectivity, even in these times. And I was just laughing to myself because it's a very ideal call to make. That's the proper thing to do. But can we be objective in the absence of regulations that will come down to hammer us when we go against the ethics that have been laid out by the GJA for so long a time? These were just some of the thoughts that were going through my mind. You know, it's like a guy meeting a lady and trying to woo the lady. Says, I will die for you. And guys say that all the time. And I say, okay, lady, you let the guy say I will die for you by asking one question. Prove it. When a guy says I'll die for you, just tell the guy, prove it. And let's see if he will indeed die for you. No guy has ever died for a woman. So when we say I'll die for you, we've been dying. I haven't seen a guy who has died for a woman except in a movie, and that movie was Titanic. Thank you very much. At this stage, let's welcome the current GJA Journalist of the Year, Doreen Hammond. Let's give her a round of applause as she approaches to give us a solidarity message.
Sir Chairman, distinguished guest of honor, Mr. GJA President, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I feel honored to have the opportunity to share my thoughts on such an important occasion. Once again, it is that time of the year where we need to identify and honor our colleagues who have worked professionally to raise the name of our profession and, more importantly, impact society. I say this because to me, journalism is all about impacting society. I have always been excited about this program on our yearly calendar, not only because it has offered me the opportunity to be recognized on several occasions, culminating in my recognition as the best journalist for 2018, but it also offers all of us the opportunity to reflect on our profession. This is a crucial requirement if we want to make it better. As the saying goes, an unexamined life is not worth living. And now, Mr. Chairman, permit me to make brief remarks on standards, ethics, and professionalism in relation to the theme, which is COVID-19 and credible presidential and parliamentary elections, the media factor. We, as the media, have a critical role to play in ensuring a successful election, but this can only be realized if we make standards, ethics, and professionalism our banner. The irony of the COVID-19 era is that though it has restricted movement, there has not been any time than now when information is so critical. Anxiety has engulfed society. We seem to be in a haze, and therefore the need for accurate and verifiable information. The question that arises is, under these hazardous circumstances, whose responsibility is it to get information to society? Unfortunately, I dare say it is us journalists. The onus falls squarely on us to provide the right information to our people. We cannot afford to let them down, especially in an election year. We must ensure that our people are equipped with the right information so that come election day, they can make informed decisions. We live in a world where, thanks to the information superhighway, we do not lack information. What we lack, unfortunately, is credible information. This is where the work of a professional journalist comes into play. He or she must stand out against bloggers, entertainers, and comedians. His or her write-ups should be devoid of opinions, emotions, sensationalism, and political sentiments. This is the only way we can stand out and be counted and be useful to our society, especially in an election year. Having said this, let me conclude by saying that there is no bad profession but bad practitioners. You may choose what you may perceive to be a good profession, but if you do not apply yourself to it and follow the rules of the game and respect the ethics religiously, you may not reap the benefits you aspire to. To the young ones, I assure you that with dedication, hard work, and respect for the rules of the game, you are not far from becoming the next Elizabeth Ohene, Kojo Yanka, Christiana Mampo, Kweku Sechiado, and others. Long live GJA, long live Ghana. I wish us all a successful program. Thank you.
Doreen, thank you very much. Doreen ends by saying to the young ones, and I was just looking around looking for the young ones. I remember when I moved into my neighborhood the children around used to call me Bra Abdul. Now when they see me, they say, Sa Papa no. And I'm like, oh my God, we have arrived. Doreen, thank you very much. The VRA chief executive was supposed to be here. Unfortunately, he has been engaged with some other assignments, and so I have been appointed to read his statement on his behalf. I also wish that I could take his salary on his behalf at the end of this month, but I'll still proceed anyway. It says, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to associate with this year's launch of the 25th GJA Awards. The VRA accepted to be part of the GJA collaboration last year because of the importance the authority attaches to your association and the developmental ideals for the media fraternity. As key partners and vehicles for national development, our two institutions have the common objective to improve the economic and social development of the country. It is therefore strategic necessity for the VRA and GJA to influence public policy, build and promote national development. Your theme for this year, COVID-19 and the credible presidential and parliamentary elections, the media factor, clearly indicates the improvements you have made over the years as an institution. You would have clapped at this point. Please, just imagine that he is a... All right. VRA has become a more resilient and financially viable business entity because of the people factor. Our resolve to build, nurture, and develop our people for excellence in all our endeavors has sustained our market leadership for national development. We believe that the GJA's efforts to maintain higher professional standards even in these unusual times must be applauded and supported. The VRA will continue to support you to uphold the tenets, ethics, values, and standards of journalism profession to shape the cause of national development. On behalf of the board, management, and staff of the Volta River Authority, we extend our appreciation to the GJA for the opportunity as the 2019 title sponsor and congratulate you for the launch of the 25th awards celebration. God bless our homeland Ghana, God bless the Ghana Journalists Association, and God bless us all. Thank you. Mr. President, I must say that I'm enjoying this. I feel like the CEO already. And the media, please, when you report this, say that, and speaking on behalf of the Chief Executive of the VRA, Mr. Abdul Hai Mumen, who hopes to earn a similar salary as him, said, and then you can end it there. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have gotten to the climax almost of the event, and we'll take the keynote address now. Our keynote address will be delivered by a man who is known to us all. In fact, his name at a point was synonymous with sorry, I skipped. Before we invite our keynote speaker, let me also invite Mr. Dr. Agredakun, Chief Director, Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs, to give us a solidarity message. Doc, thank you.
Institutionalization of sanitization. Institutionalization of sanitization. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Human beings have always endured, right? Yes, we will persist. Thank you very much. Let me associate myself with the protocol so rendered so I can make some time savings. The Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs is happy to be associated with this. I have been media friendly for well over 12 years because I have appreciated that without the media, democracies cannot thrive. It's as simple as that. What I know ladies and gentlemen, is that the central concept really in politics is power. That's the central concept. So the talk about politics is about power. Who has it? How is it distributed? Is power concentrated in the hands of the few, or is dispersed? Colleagues, what we also need to know is that if we are defining politics as who gets what, when and how, and who pays, then I dare say that power is the tool that is used in the distribution of the cake. Some have said that politics is just authoritative allocation of values. Now, my argument is that because power is the tool that is used in the distribution of the cake, the struggle for political power would necessarily be competitive. So if you see elections being competitive, for me as a political scientist, it's normal. That is how it ought to be. So what we need to know is that the contest for power will be keen, and that democratic elections will be competitive. What is also important is that democratic elections will be regular, and then of course will be institutionalized. Now, the media's role in sustaining our democracy is critical. We have all decided in 1992, for instance, when I met George Sapong in Legon Hall, was that never again will we relapse into authoritarianism, and that our behavior, our institutions, the relationship between the citizens and the people would be constrained. Because I take a cue from my mentor, Aristotle, who believes that no matter how good a man is, he cannot be as good as a good law. In other words, when the laws are with the men, they are the best of animals. When they are separated from the laws, they are the worst of animals. So we are operating under a constitution that will constrain our behavior and literally, force us to be free, in the words of J.J. Rousseau. So the media's role is critical, and that is why I said that they will give meaning to democracy. We are talking about rights, which is critical, which is an enabling right. That's the freedom of speech, which is an enabling right. And that is where you fit in. If you relegate your duties and responsibilities to the background, we will suffer for it as a country. So you, in this election year, where your expertise, your competencies, your exposure, your experience, and your resilience, and above all, your nationality, will be brought on board for the purpose of developing this country. Because these are not normal times. And therefore, even though you are interested in enhancing that important right, the right to vote and to be voted for, we have to also operate that these rights are exercised within the environment that will make us as safe as possible so we can survive. So the debate that you engender must be one that is well informed, because I believe in one principle, that the distinctive trait of the philosopher is that he knows nothing. So if you're a media practitioner and you admit that you know nothing, colleagues, it will impel you to look for more knowledge, and society will benefit from your stewardship. This is what I want to leave here, that we have to be factual, we have to be responsible, we have to be civil and decorous. And I'm happy that the major lunch that you did at the press center some time back with the U.S. Embassy, giving the support, the key thing is how you promote discernment and civility in public discourse. It is those who suffer from poverty of ideas that descend into the gutters and propagate hate speeches. Diversity is a fact of life. So you and I, let's tap into the opportunities that diversity brings so we can develop this country. It's a call we cannot fail. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Doc. We are now at the point where we'll listen to the keynote address. The keynote speaker is a man who at a point was synonymous with Ashanti Goldfields, and I'm talking about Sir Sam Jonah, who will join us via video to deliver the keynote address. And at this point, our technicians will take over and ensure that we can all see Dr. Sam Jonah. I know there's a screen here. do we have another screen where the rest of us can see? Oh, okay. This one. Oh, okay, right. Sir Sam Jonah, we are grateful that you have joined us this morning. The creme de la creme of the media community in Ghana are gathered here at the Movenpick Hotel, and we have been deliberating on how to make the media even more vibrant, given the fact that there have been restrictions brought upon all of us by COVID-19. But more importantly, that this is the time that the public need more information and authentic education, and this can only be done through the work that media persons do here. And we are eagerly waiting for you to address us. We hand over to you now, Sir Sam Jonah. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, MC. Mr. Chairman, my very good friend, George Tapapon, the President of Ghana Journalists Association, my good friend, Dr. Money, National Executive members of the GJA, media practitioners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I take pride in making the claim that I've always been a friend of the media. Indeed, the truth was to be told. But for my difficult and strange relationship with the English language, I would have been a member of your profession. So in spite of my difficult busy schedule today, I gladly accepted Dr. Money's invitation for me to launch this event. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2015, after painstaking investigation work, Ghana's renowned investigative journalist, Anas, and his Tiger Eye Media, had the most revealing insight into the work of the judiciary. This engendered conversations across the length and breadth of this country. The judicial reforms that ensued shall without doubt will forever be credited to Anas's legacy and work. As you all know, Anas has gone on to conduct many other investigative works that has led to prominent performances in the way the country is run. That is how useful and constructive good journalism does. Now let me give you an example of what bad journalism also does. Ladies and gentlemen, let's cast our mind back to the events that led to the genocide crisis in 1995. The role that journalists played in tragic events, which resulted in the death of about 800,000 Tutsis, is very well known to all of us. Indeed, in delivering his judgment against President Himama, who was a founding member of Radio Mail, and Hassan Ngege, the owner and editor of the Hutus extremist newspaper, the Kanguri. The presiding judge made this very profound statement. I quote, it says, Nahimama chose a path of genocide and betrayed the trust placed in him as an intellectual and a leader. He caused the deaths of thousands of civilians without using any firearm. Unquote. It is said, ladies and gentlemen, that the pen is more powerful than the sword. Because everybody appreciates that the pen has an enormous capacity to do good or to create havoc. Ladies and gentlemen, as the chairman said, our country goes to the polls on December 7th. We will be electing a new president and a new crop of politicians, parliamentarians, in an extremely challenging time. I'm sure you'd all agree with me that the political environment currently is too toxic. And understandably, this is leading to a lot of disquiet and anxiety. I believe that the GJA is well aware of the challenges of the moment, and I have no doubt at all that it's braced itself to ensuring that it will meet its responsibilities in these difficult times. Nevertheless, I'd like to remind you that you carry a very heavy burden in the discharge of your onerous responsibility. You should never underrate the power you have to create an environment which would engender peace and stability in our dear country. You have to be strong. You have in the discharge of your duties, you have to be strong. And as you all know, in recent times, you have to demonstrate courage. You have to be fair. You have to be just in the discharge of your duties. And as I said, you should not be lacking in courage. Let me also say that whatever you do, you should ask yourself whether you are advancing the cause of justice, understanding, getting our people together, uniting us, all of us, and spreading goodwill and peace. Indeed, I would refer all of you to the Rotarians' famous four-way test. That would it be the truth? Would it bring fairness? Would it bring friendship? Would it indeed unite all of us? These are desperately important times, and I expect nothing less from this organization. Let me say that I am deeply humbled to have been invited on this very auspicious occasion. The theme for this year's event, COVID-19 and credible presidential and parliamentary elections, the media factor, the timing couldn't be better. You have picked an excellent theme for this year's event. As I said earlier, we are heading for very heated and contentious elections. Since our first elections of the Fourth Republic in 1992, we have had two keenly contested elections, two of them heading into runoffs. Whilst our elections have witnessed pockets of violence and minor discrepancies, on the whole, Ghana has emerged as a bastion of democracy in our sub-region. And it is against this background that I share in the confidence of many that we will once again be victorious in this exercise of democracy. Mr. Chairman, whilst my confidence is unshaken in our people, my fear is however heightened in the manner in which the COVID is running amok across many countries on the globe, including ours. Infection rates are very much on the increase across many countries, and we are seeing second and third waves in countries that opened too early, with some closing again. We cannot, Mr. Chairman, completely rule out the possibility that in the heat of the election campaign, many safety protocols will be ignored or set aside. In our frenzy, we could lose our sense of restraint, judgment, and safety, all in the name of electioneering campaign. Indeed, recent history has shown us that tacit recklessness is the oxygen that feeds COVID-19. It is in this regard that I say to the fourth and the most important estate, as eloquently reiterated by Thomas Kiley of Bex, and I quote, "There were three estates, emphasis mine, kings, lords, and the commons in Parliament. But in the reporters' gallery yonder, there sat a fourth estate more important than all of the others. Mr. Chairman, that is the responsibility you have. You have a responsibility in ensuring that you keep us focused in this fight in dealing with this pandemic. Mr. Chairman, I need not remind all of us that elections are they need not be a matter of life and death, but unfortunately, they have become so. But the battle for the corona is far more important than the battle for getting who gets elected as president. Under no circumstance must we encourage any situation with trades in life for votes. And in this regard, I count on all of you to ensure that this does not happen. That is the burden your profession has. It is therefore, I will therefore charge the media not to sacrifice the fight against corona for political campaign, election campaign. You have a unique responsibility in this fight. And as I said, you have to keep us, all of us, focused and to ensure that we don't drop our guards. These are very difficult times indeed, Mr. Chairman. Whilst lucrative and juicy political stories, headlines, and streaming will soon be clamoring for your attention and platforms, ladies and gentlemen, please don't let this happen at the expense of the attention that we have to pay to the fight against COVID. I have the utmost confidence in the GJA's ability to rise to the occasion. Indeed, it is refreshing to note that the GJA, in appreciation of the challenges imposed by COVID-19, intends to organize this year's media events virtually. This strong showing of leadership at the GJA gives you the moral right to demand same from all our stakeholders, including our politicians. May I therefore take this opportunity to congratulate and applaud you for taking such a laudable initiative in the organization of today's event. Mr. Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, once again, let me say a very big thank you indeed to all of you for inviting me to this event. I know we will and we can count on your sense of responsibility in ensuring that we do that which is right in these very difficult times. Thank you very much indeed.
We are grateful to you, sir. We look forward to seeing you at the main ceremony when eventual winners are declared, and at that time we'll be celebrating and talking more about the issues you have raised this morning. Let's give him another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. We have come to the tail end of the program, but let me acknowledge the presence of the chairperson of the awards committee, Mrs. Betty Apawapon. It's here with us. Auntie Betty, can we see you? Oh, that's right. Auntie Betty is here. Thank you very much. Mr. Kwesi Agyemang is a member of the committee as well. Let's acknowledge him. You have an adult task to perform on behalf of all of us. We are grateful that you have done that. Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, with your permission, would like to start wrapping up. Let me thank everyone who made it possible for this event to happen. Mr. President already thanked the media partners, GTV, GBC News, and all those who are here to cover, because the point that has been reiterated here is that without the media, especially in these times, what we'll be doing is winking at a woman in the dark. She will not know what we are doing. But the media is here to highlight what has been done and said here, and we are grateful to every media house that sent a representative here. We're also grateful to all the media practitioners, the veterans and the young ones who made it here physically to ensure that this event comes off. Mr. Chairman, we are particularly grateful to you as well, because the NMC has ensured media survival in this country, especially in the Fourth Republic, and we are grateful for the work that you have been doing there on behalf of all of us. Mr. President, we are also grateful to you for putting this together and for drawing our attention to the fact that in spite of COVID-19, we will still have our ceremony, which we always look forward to every other year. In fact, for us as journalists, it is one of the most important days and dates on our calendar, and you have not allowed COVID-19 to take that away from us, and we are grateful for that, sir. Thank you very much to you and all the other executive members who made it possible. I'd like to thank particularly the keynote address giver, Sir Sam Jonah, for giving us that very encouraging message, and to everyone who watched from their homes, from their offices, and from wherever you spent time watching this program, because it means a lot to you. We are grateful to all of you, and we thank you for making this possible. And this is where we will bring down the curtains on the event, which is the 25th GJA Awards Launch. The event, so officially it's been launched, Mr. President. So, and the message out there is that go out there, for those who have stories, enter the stories, and I'm sure that you can go onto the GJA website and look for further information on the requirements and the procedure you have to go through to submit those stories. We are grateful. Thank you very much, and we hope to see you at the next event. Yes. Oh, sorry. Mr. Chairman, I'm very sorry about that. We'll now call the chairperson, Mr. George Sapon, to give us his closing remarks.
Thank you very much. Need I say anything more other than to stress, Mr. President, that Sir Jonah shared with us deep insights that we need to find a way to make available to all of us who are here, and perhaps to the generality of the people of Ghana. And I can only thank all of you once again for the great support in making this a success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Another special announcement that the submission of entries this year, 90% will be done virtually. We encourage as many journalists as possible who wish to submit entries to do that using the virtual platforms, and that there will be a lot of press releases that will direct you as to what to do and how to do it. So please follow all the press releases that will come out from the GJA office, but also on the GJA website for further information. Thank you very much. I hear there is lunch, but it is not compulsory. You can go. The rest of us can stay and enjoy the lunch. Have a very good afternoon. Thank you very much for being a part of this. Indulge me. We began with the name of God. We'll call Pastor Hagan to give us the closing prayer. I'm very sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen.
Now let's bow as we pray. Once again, we began with you. You have set the pace for us. And as we leave this year, please, may the activities for this year be wonderful. Bless all those who are going to contest. And may peace and tranquility be part of our nation. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit have we prayed. Amen.
Thank you. Have a nice day, everybody.